Natural Beauties, thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you're new here, welcome, and if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back to my channel. Today we're getting into all the dirty details of my home birth, labor, and delivery. A couple of weeks ago on my Instagram stories, if you're following me on Instagram, and also on my Facebook, I did pose a question regarding my home labor and delivery. I'm answering them in this video. I didn't get a ton of response, which is okay because I still have enough to get very deep into the whole process. If you don't see what you're looking for in this video, please leave your questions down below in the comments, and what I'll do is I'll do a part 2 to this Q&A. I am going to do a home birth vlog that's going to be separate. Me and hubby are putting that together as we speak, and so look out for that as well. If you are even a little bit interested in home birth, what it's like and what that process can look like, definitely stick around and stay tuned to this video. Before we get into the Q&A, I just want to say that this is my third home labor and delivery. When my first son was born about 12 years ago, I did have a birth in the hospital, and so there's nothing wrong with if you decide to do one or the other. I just knew from the moment that I was pregnant that I wanted to do something different, and I see the benefits of doing it this way. But that's a subject matter for a whole nother video, and if you are interested in that topic, please let me know. Hit like on this video. Excuse me, the little one is right here in my lap. He was just nursing. He has to eat too. If you do want to know more about what a home birth versus a hospital birth is like, I can maybe do a story time for you guys. So let me know if you're curious in seeing that, and thumbs up this video or drop me a baby emoji in the comments. Okay, so let's get on into it. One of the first questions I received from our sister Kyle was, did you have a midwife? Yes, I did have a midwife. I had the legendary, because she's legendary. If y'all don't know, yeah, I gotta ask somebody or Google her. But Mama Saran Henderson is pretty well known for her trek as a midwife for over 30 years. She is very well experienced in this. We had her for my first home birth. She's well known in the Atlanta, Georgia area and all over. I've seen people talk about her in videos all the way in New York. So she's just, people know about Mama Saran. This birth, we reached out and got back in touch with her, and she was available to do this home birth as well. As anyone could probably imagine, because it is the season and a time of coronavirus or COVID-19, there are many women who are seeking a different option as far as labor and delivery, and they don't want to have their child in the hospital. They want to give birth in a safe environment in their home. She had definitely had a lot of babies to be born during this time, and I'm glad that I was able to be one of them. And I would definitely, if I ever did it again, which we not doing it again, this is the last baby, but if I was ever do it again, we would definitely have her as our midwife. So the next question I got, now this wasn't really a labor and delivery question, but I will address it briefly. I do have a video about pregnancy and hair growth, about did I have any postpartum hair loss. As of right now, no, I have not noticed any excessive shedding, but in my previous 3 pregnancies, postpartum, around 3 or 4 months, yes, I experienced major shedding. I had some balding spots around my hairline. Yes, that does happen. I'm expecting it's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 months. I pray it is not as much as I've had in the past, but I've been preparing for it with different, a change in my hair regimen, and I'm just trying to keep my diet as balanced and well fitting as possible. I also had another sister reach out to me right after, and she had a series of questions. She's actually about to give birth soon, and so she had several questions, and she made the rest of this video very, very interesting. So I'm going to get into them. So she said, let me send a shout out to Sister Tabitha, because she allowed me to put all this down on paper and put all my thoughts out there so that this video could actually be a video. So thank you so much, sis. Figured I'd shout you out. All right, so how was it for you? That's a very broad question, but we'll get into it. How long did you labor? So my labor, actually I had false labor, which was annoying because that put me back into the mind of my last pregnancy. And my youngest daughter, Salome, I had false contractions for like 2 days, and then I finally went into labor on the 3rd day. And I was afraid that was happening again. But on New Year's Eve, that evening, I started to have some contractions. You know, they don't always start out super painful. These were kind of mild. So it was like practice contractions. I think they probably stopped after about 6 hours and went away. And I knew, like, okay, this wasn't real labor. But with that happening and me not knowing for sure if it was real labor or not, we still prepared the house, got the kids off to babysitter and the whole shebang, because hey, we didn't know. So that was interesting. But about 2 days later, it was that Sunday afternoon, I got up early. I said it seemed like, you know, the baby was trying to make its way. Maybe he's ready. I decided to go outside, take a walk. I walked up and down the hills in my neighborhood. I live in a very hilly residential area, and I was determined to get labor going. So when I got back to the house, it was probably around noonish, 1 p.m. Around about 3:45 p.m. contractions started to kick in, and they were steady and continuous, and probably by, I'd say 10:30 p.m. that evening, it was active labor. And active labor is where your contractions are 5 minutes apart, lasting a minute or longer for at least 1 hour, and it stays consistent like that. So I was in active labor from about 10:30 p.m. to 1:45 a.m. when he was born. 2 p.m. if you count me, you know, birthing placenta and all of that extra stuff. So literally about 3 hours in active labor. And I think more or less that may be typical after you have several children. So this is my 4th child, so it did seem to get shorter. So it wasn't a terrible labor, it was expedient. There was not anything like super eventful, but you guys will see. We have some video recorded. I can't say that it was more painful or less painful than any of my other labor and delivery experiences. Question number 2, was I in the water? So I wanted a water birth ever since I was pregnant with my first son. Unfortunately, that just has never happened, and it's probably not going to happen. I was in the tub for this labor for a while. And you can actually, you probably will see that in the video. But I did take some time, and this was actually crucial in me probably not giving birth before the midwives got there. I sat in the tub from maybe about 11:30, 11:40 till the time they got there at like 1:25, 1:30, something like that. Because the contractions got very intense, and the more you are upwards in a standing position or walking around, the faster the labor is going to go. And this is partially part of the reason why I have an issue with hospital labors. Not all of them are conducive to you being active or standing and not, you know, strapped to the bed with the machine attached to you. Not all of them are for that. I like the advantage of me being able to be in my house, walk around, sit on the birthing ball and all of that without having to ask permission to do what I want to do with my own body that's about to give birth to a baby. Where are you going? Why are you doing all this wiggling? What's going on? Oh gosh. The more I stood up, the stronger and faster those contractions were coming. And so me and hubby decided, okay, it's time to get into the tub before we have some incident where, you know, my water is breaking and he has to deliver the baby himself. I'm glad we made that decision because, yeah, the baby came within an hour of the midwives getting there. I was pushing him out. Yes, that's true. That's a true story about mommy giving birth to you. Do you have any tips for keeping calm and controlling the pain? Yes, yes, and yes. So one of the things that we did to kind of relax me while we waited for the midwives is that in the bathtub, or in the bathroom where I was in the big garden tub, we put a diffuser with some essential oils. Lavender is always calming and relaxing. We put some quiet, soothing music, kind of like, you know, getting it, you kind of set the mood. You know, you don't want to think about giving birth and being frantic and panicked and scared. You want to be relaxed. And so you kind of set a mood for this event as well. And you want to be, you know, relaxed and thinking about your baby coming and not thinking about, you know, oh my gosh, a contraction is coming, let me brace myself. Because the more you do that, the worse you will feel, and the less, I think, the less you will progress if you kind of tense up and you freak out. And the other thing I suggest is, if you can, I've always been able to do this for some reason, and I'm not sure how, I'm not sure where it stems from, but I've always been able to put myself in a state of calm, in a state of kind of what might be a frantic situation. If I'm really concentrating on it and if I'm in an environment where I can do that. Okay, sorry about that. My battery completely died and I had to switch to my phone really quick. So hopefully I can finish up this last question in the time that I have left on my phone battery. How do you keep calm? So I did say that having the essential oils and the relaxing music, you know, you kind of set the mood, run a warm bath, learning how to breathe. If you've taken a Lamaze course before, or if you're planning on taking a Lamaze course during your pregnancy, I think that is a great recommendation. What I can say I do recommend is taking deep breaths, fully inhaling, fully exhaling, taking your time. I would also recommend just maybe talking about some things with your spouse that distract you. Someone likes to record when I'm in labor and, you know, see if I have any words of inspiration to give to my children once they see the video. It's just something that takes my mind off of it for a little bit. Relaxing your body. And I mean, when I say relaxing your body, from the top of your head, imagine there's a pin above your head and you're trying to become straight as the pin and bring all of your energy and your focus through the middle of your body down to where your pelvis is, where your contractions are the hardest or the heaviest, and you know where that baby is traveling. I mean, relax your body all the way through your center. That has been one of the key things that helps me just get through those contractions. I just don't tense up, don't think about the pain too much, focus on relaxing and making that area feel as weightless and as comfortable as possible. That's the best thing that I can say. I just focus on relaxing that area. Once I got out of the tub and I was standing up and, you know, walking around again, you know, it gets closer to the time for the baby to be pushed out, when the contractions start going back to back to back. And I just try to stop and relax. So in between the contractions, I was walking around, you know, kind of chit-chatting a little bit if I could. Once they get back to back like that, you have less and less time to do that kind of thing. One of the midwives that was there, she encouraged me to kind of squat in the middle of the contractions, and that kind of sped things along. My water broke, I think maybe the third time. I kind of squatted down to the floor, my water broke, and then after the water breaks, you feel immense pressure, and that's how you know that it's time to push. You're still having contractions while you're pushing, and what I always encourage is to push with the contraction. So the contraction is helping the baby move through your body, and when it's the strongest, you push as well, and that helps you get the baby out. I think it helps the baby move out of the birth canal faster. You know, you kind of get into whatever position that you are comfortable in, and sometimes I'm sad that like I never did a water birth, but I can't imagine being able to push comfortably on my knees in the tub in the water, because usually in the past I've either ended up standing or on all fours when I give birth to my children, and that has been what has been the most comfortable for me. If you guys want to hear more about my previous birth experience, please let me know that as well. Drop a little baby down in the comments, and I can do a story time about my other pre-labor and deliveries as well. And that is it, you guys. I didn't have any more questions, so if you have questions that you would like for me to answer regarding home birth, labor, and delivery, please let me know. Feel free to drop them in, and I will make a part 2 to this video so that I can address those questions for you. Hopefully I was able to answer some of the questions that you had. If not, feel free to leave your questions as well. My returning subscribers, thank you again for watching, hanging in there while I try to get back on a normal and more consistent recording and uploading schedule with the new one around. And that's it, you guys. I appreciate you for watching. Click that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I have a new video. And until then, don't forget to live out loud, own your truth, and let your light shine. Bye.